Hello everybody, happy 2018, happy new year. For a lot of people, including myself, 2018 was a little weird. So I really hope that we all have a very positive experience for 2018. If you follow my Instagram at night3_AJ, unshameful plug-in, you would know that maybe like a month ago I asked you on my Instagram to comment questions so that way I could answer them in a video. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to have to ruin the magic a little bit for this video, so I hope that doesn't bother you too much. So the first question is it difficult to make fursuit heads? I'm planning on trying out suiting, and if you have any general advice, that would be awesome. Okay, so in the beginning, I will say that fursuit making is a bit difficult, especially if you've never had costume making experience in the past. As long as you check out a few tutorials on YouTube, you should be good. As long as you keep practicing and just never give up, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how unsuccessful you think you are, as long as you keep working, then you will be good. Like here is my 1 year improvement right here. I did this, so this was my first fursuit head, and this is my newest one. So, you know, after only a year I've improved a lot, so never give up. Will you ever go to a con? Yes, sorry I haven't gone to the past few conventions that I said that I would. Plans changed, and you know, life happens. So the ones that I will be going to is most likely Wizard World Comic Con Portland, and that's in April, and Furlandia in Portland as well, which is in May. So those are the cons that I'm going to be going to. Favorite fursuit head that you've made? Probably, here, let me get it. Probably this one. This is the fursuit head that I made for my actual persona. Her name's Night, and I think that this is my favorite head that I've ever made. Why are you a furry? Like, why do you like being a furry? I think I like being a furry because of how creative the community is, and how accepting and supporting like the majority of the fandom is, and just the creative aspect is really cool. Like in this community, it's very creative. We can share our art and our other amazing talents like dancing, singing, costume making. So just how creative the fandom is probably my favorite part about it, and that's why I like being in this community. What do you start with first? How is it planned out? Okay, so if you're trying to make a fursuit, then you need a reference sheet or concept art. This is the concept art that I made for the pre-made partial. So see, like just simple planning like this. A concept art is a great way to start, so that way you kind of know what you want your suit to look like. And this is what this suit ended up looking like after I finished the pre-made. So concept art is a really great way to get started. What is your favorite type of fur to work with? I really love working with luxury shagged faux fur. It's really nice. It's, you know, this long stuff. It's easier to work with than some of the other furs, and it can be shaven down, and you can just do a lot of things with it. So I think luxury shagged faux fur is my favorite one to work with. How do you do the character patterns on the fur? So you have to get a general pattern for like shirt, arm sleeves. You have to take measurements and stuff like that. But once you get the pattern for the part that you want to make, then you have to draw it out on the pattern, then cut out the patterns, lay them out on the fur, then cut them out of the fur, then sew it all back together, kind of like how the pattern looks. And that's my best description of how to do it. Who's your biggest inspiration within the fandom? For fursuits, I'd say Phoenix Nest. They're a huge inspiration for me. I absolutely adore their suits. And for videos, I'd say maybe Bakari Roo and Kiba Wolf. If you could have any fursuit maker in the world make a character of yours for free, who would it be? Definitely Phoenix Nest, and I would have them make my persona Night that I just showed you a little bit ago. Why do a lot of people hate furries? I don't get why they're hated, because they're awesome and their suits are really cool. Well, thank you that you think that our fandom is awesome. I sometimes wonder this myself, because I can get why people like mildly dislike us, maybe think that we're weird, but I don't get why people full out hate us and stuff like that. But my best guess is that, well, we are a little weird. We are different from the social norm, and a lot of people don't like things outside of the social norm. So whenever they see something different or weird, sometimes they go, oh, that's weird, I don't like that. So I think that could be a part of it. And there's another side of the fandom that you probably know about. You know, there's a sexual side of the fandom, and I think that a lot of people think that that's also pretty weird, and because of that they think that furries are just, you know, kind of gross and stuff. So I think that's another reason, even though it's not the majority. Sometimes when people see a couple furries doing it, sometimes they'll think, oh, I think that all furries do this. So yeah, maybe that's just my best guess. Where do you get your fur colors? And is there a specific site? Which one? I get my furs from a local store. That's where I get the majority of my furs, because they have a lot of luxury shag and the short pile furs. But if they don't have a color that I need, I usually get it from fabric.com and fursuitsupplies.com. Both amazing websites. Fursuitsupplies.com is more organized, but fabric.com usually has the furs in stock more often. So both are great websites. How do you line the eyes and install them? Also, do you line the mouth and nose where the fur meets the fleece? Okay, let me go get Knight again. Okay, so I know I didn't line the eyes on Jett, but I planned to when I gave him a refurbish. But when I did Knight, personally, I put the eyes in first and then line the outside of them. I know that's probably not the best way to do it, but it's the way that works for me. So I always add the eyes in, and then I'm very, very careful about how I line them. Like, I make sure that it lines up perfectly with the eyes, and then I'm very careful with the process of how I put the black around the eyes. And for the nose, I don't know. I personally wrap the nose first and then put the fur right up on the nose. I bet that's probably not the best way to do it, but it works for me and it still looks fine. If you have time, do you have any tips on making floppy ears? I've tried multiple times, but they never seem to turn out. I've tried only sewing, giving a little extra fabric on the meeting point of the head and ears. None of these have really worked for me. Okay, let me go get Knight again. So it depends on what you mean by floppy. Like, this is what Knight's ears look like. Like, see, they're very floppy in this way. But so if you're talking about this kind of floppy, then I'd say add less foam. Like, maybe thin it down just a little bit at the base, like right here. And I know that that can be a little risky sometimes because they're easier to maybe get damaged that way. But as long as you make sure to secure it down very well, you won't have much of a problem. And then it'll get this very nice flop effect. But if you're talking about flop, like that kind of flop down, then I'd say add some wire on both sides, like here and here, so that way they're posable and you can bend it down like that. What are the exact steps in making a fursuit? How much would it cost to make one yourself, and where do you get your crafting supplies? Okay. To explain every single step in making a fursuit would take a long time because it's a very complicated and time-consuming process. So I might make a few videos on their own in making fursuits in the future. Maybe, maybe not, but so if you ask this question or you're just flat out wondering the same thing, then stick around for maybe some fursuit making tutorials in the future. But how much would it cost to make one yourself? I think to make Jett it was about $150, $175 or so to make his full suit, and to make the pre-made partial, and this is what it looks like, I'd say that one took maybe $150, $125, probably $125. So it depends on what kind of suit you're making. And where do you get your crafting supplies? For the basic things like craft foam, mesh, and hot glue gun, hot glue sticks, and stuff like that. You can probably get that at any local craft store like Joann's and Michael's, but I don't recommend that you get your fur for your actual fursuit from Joann's because the quality is really bad. So yeah, but to get those basic crafting supplies, I think that any craft store should have them. So, do you make money being a furry? I make money through the furry fandom for selling my art and fursuit parts. I'm sorry, you can't just join the furry fandom and start making money. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. Where do you purchase fur, and does the fur tend to shed a lot? I already mentioned that. I already mentioned where to get the fur, but after you make your suit, and it's just finished, it will shed a little bit because it's just been freshly made. But after the first couple of times wearing it, you should be good. It shouldn't shed as much. And think of your cat or anything. It won't shed as much as your cat will. It won't shed very much, trust me. How much does it cost to make a fursuit? And how do you make the foam base? Do you attach and carve until the shape is what you like? And do you glue the fur down onto the foam, or do you cover the foam with something and then glue it down or something? Okay, I already mentioned how much it costs to make suits briefly, but making bases, yeah, I'd say that I do attach and carve until it's the shape that I like. And yeah, you have to cover your head with duct tape so that way you can get exact patterning for your head. But once your fur is all sewn up and it's ready to be attached to the head and you've gotten everything done, then yes, do glue down the fur. Don't just pin it down. That's dangerous. How many years of experience do you have in fursuit making? Actually, I think a year. I'm recording this video on the 4th of January, and I started making my first fursuit on December 4th. So it's been exactly a month and a year of fursuit making, and this is my improvement. So here's my first fursuit, and here's my newest, which is my fursuit pre-made that I made. Which, by the way, if you're interested, sorry, I already sold. You can't buy it anymore. But yeah, here's my improvement, and I'm really proud of it. It's amazing what time can do if you just practice and don't give up on what you're doing. Is it fun to be in a fursuit? Because I'm gonna be one. Yes, it is a lot of fun being in a fursuit. It's really cool to break the rules of reality and just become something adorable and amazing for a little bit. But do remember, it gets very hot very quickly, and you will have to take breaks and drink lots of water before, after, and during your suiting. So just don't forget those, and you'll have an amazing time. It's a lot of fun. Here are some would you rathers. 1. Would you rather have a low quality suit of a character that you really connect with, or do you have an extremely high quality suit of a character that you don't connect with at all? Probably a high quality suit of a character that I don't connect with, because at the same time it would be amazing to have a suit that high quality, even if you don't connect with the character that much. If I were gonna be in this situation, I would probably get my proto-gen character. This is what he looks like. I'd probably get him made by Kyborg Studios, one of these, because they're really amazing and just awesome. So you could still impress lots of people with your amazing suit, even if you don't connect with it that much. You could still have a lot of fun in your suit. 2. Would you rather get a fursuit made from your favorite fursuit maker or 100 drawings from your favorite artist? Probably a fursuit from my favorite fursuit maker, because I don't know, you could enjoy your fursuit a lot longer. I don't know, I mean, art is amazing, but you could do more things with your fursuit. After I get the first 10 pieces of art from my favorite artist, I wouldn't really know what to do for the other 90, so yeah, probably just a fursuit from my favorite fursuit maker. And last 3, would you rather never have to pay for foam and glue, or never have to pay for fur and thread? Definitely never have to pay for fur and thread. I lose so much money that way. Because foam and glue don't actually cost that much. And meanwhile, fur for a yard can go from $18 to $50. So yeah, definitely I'd say never have to pay for fur and thread. Oh dear goodness. What is the hardest thing when making a fursuit? Probably getting the proportions right while still maintaining your fursuit style, but also not making it look like you can't even tell what the animal's supposed to be. So probably proportions, and also getting the shaving even, perfect, and even. That's also kind of hard. What's your favorite con to go to? Furry convention wise, Furlandia, because that's the only furry convention I've ever been to. And it's a really amazing convention. Highly recommend you go to it at least once. And favorite convention outside of the furry fandom is probably either Wizard World Comic Con, like in Portland, or VidCon. Both are amazing conventions. Rank these fursuit makers from favorite to least favorite. Mischief Makers, Autumn Fallings, More for Less, Don't Hug Cacti, That's Furred Up, Elf Dragon, and Lemon Brat. Okay, first is Mischief Makers, then second is Don't Hug Cacti, then 3 is More for Less. No, wait. Third is Autumn Fallings, then 4 is More for Less. Then 5 would be That's Furred Up, then Elf Dragon, and Lemon Brat. So almost the same order that you put it in. How much was your suit to make on average? I think to make Jett was like 175 or something like that. And my first fursuit was probably about, I don't know, maybe only 100. How hard is it to make a fursuit? As I said previously, it is difficult in the beginning, but once you just keep practicing, it will get easier and a lot more enjoyable. Does your family respect you for being a furry? Yes, I would say like 95% of the time they do have a pretty high respect for me being a furry. They think that it's amazing that I can make all this furry art and costumes. They think that's really cool. But of course they do have their boundaries within the fandom, and that's totally understandable. So yes, I do say that they are really supportive. Have any beginner tips on starting to make fursuit heads? Just practice. Get some foam, like cheaper foam, like from Joann's maybe, just to get an understanding of the head shape, and if you're really happy with it, then use it. And for getting started with sewing and stuff, get some felt or something really cheap, so that way you can just practice sewing and making patterns and stuff, so that way you kind of have a little more confidence when you make your actual suit. What do you use for the head base? I personally like to use foam, because then I can make an original head shape, and I don't know, I just like the way it looks better. But there's another head base material called resin, and it's kind of like a pre-made thing, and resin's pretty hard as well, so I've never used it, and usually resin comes in for more realistic suits, so I've never used it. But if you want a more realistic head base, or you don't want to make your own head base, then I'd recommend buying a resin one. How the heck do you make fursuits? How hard is that if you make your first one for the first time, and how much does it cost? I already kind of said how hard it is. It's difficult in the beginning, definitely, but for the first time, it's difficult. You're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna get impatient because it's not how you want it to be probably, but just don't give up. Maybe try a couple remakes, and you will eventually get to where you want to be. And I already mentioned how much things cost in brief earlier. What foam do you use for the head, and how much does it cost? All I know about my foam is that it's carvable, and I don't actually know how much it directly costs, because I don't really... Wait, no, yes, that's a lie. I do know how much it costs. It's... From the place that I get it from, it's about $3 or so a foot, and I don't actually directly know what it's called, so I can't really tell you where to get it, or what it's called, so I'm sorry. That's all the information that I can give you. And that's all the questions that I got. So if your question got answered, let me know if that's the answer that you were looking for, or if it helped, or anything like that. And I'll definitely be doing more Q&As in the future. So be sure to look out for those. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if it was helpful in any way, leave it down in the comments below. And I will leave the links to the tutorials that I mentioned about earlier, and I'll be leaving my Instagram and my fur affinity, so that way you can see my art and other examples of my work. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.